Wellness is such a big topic in the veterinary profession these days. A previously unspoken topic, now it's all people can talk about. Here at Mississippi State, we're taught about the importance of wellness, personal well-being, and how it affects us, the people around us, our mental status, and the decisions we make. Coming into vet school, my biggest fear was the workload. What if it's too much for me? What if I'm not good enough? What if I fail out? Everyone has those fears and thoughts, and because Mississippi State is so involved with the students' mental well-being, there are so many programs to get students involved in different activities to take brain breaks, get to know each other better, and so much more.
I'm Pauline Prince. I'm the psychologist here, and my husband and I and our oldest daughter are all alum of Mississippi State University. I got my bachelor's and my master's here, and upon graduation, my husband accepted a job in Maryland. We went to Maryland. I got my doctorate at the University of Maryland. Eventually went on to do private practice, work in some schools for about 30 years, and then eventually went on to get a postdoctoral recertification in clinical neuropsychology. Upon retirement from our jobs in Maryland, we returned to Mississippi. And when I got here, this was one of the jobs that was available for licensed psychologists. So this is coming up on the end of my third year here. All of my experience, whether it is in educational psychology, school psychology, being board certified in neuropsych, working with athletes in sport and performance psychology, assist me in being a full service psychologist here. Veterinary medicine students, y'all have a lot of anxiety. So it's how is it that we help you manage that? And it's usually around performance, whether it's test performance or in surgery or doing a surgical procedure for the very first time. How is it that we help you manage those emotions so that you can demonstrate all the really cool stuff that you've been taught to do and that you're capable of demonstrating? So that's pretty much who I am and how I got here. When I first arrived, there's really no training program for psychologists on how to work in veterinary medicine. So the very first thing that I did was a needs survey. And I asked our students what it is that you needed. And a lot of the wellness activities that came about for all of the student body came about as a result of that needs survey. So things along the lines of our frog hunt, which actually came about because you asked me to speak on things like burnout and being overwhelmed and how do we make it to the end of a very long semester. And we got started talking about procrastination. And there's this really cool book about Eat That Frog that gives you strategies on procrastination. From that came our frog hunt, which was a lot of fun. Very shortly, we're going to have a house chip hunt. Our students are divided into 4 houses that are named after the 4 previous bullies, which is our mascot. And each of the houses compete for different things. This one will be a dress down day, as well as some prizes that have been donated by Royal Canin. So there's lots of different wellness activities. Both the frog hunt and this house chip hunt is centered just before you walk into final exams for each semester. It gives you a way of having a fun activity while you're trying to study and manage a little bit of stress and be tired. So we look at how it is that we do various activities for you that throughout the year allow you to connect, to enjoy life a little bit, to breathe, and to be part of something that's a little bit of fun. And if we can throw in a prize here or there, that's just extra incentive. For me, it comes from the field of neuropsychology, and that is sort of like if you cram and cram and cram and cram, your brain gets full and there's no place to put anything. And all of us have experienced, anybody that has studied any activity for an hour or more, you're sitting there looking at a page and nothing's going in. If that's you, then you need to be able to take a brain break in order to allow your brain an opportunity to kind of organize and categorize the information that you just shoved in. And you've heard me use the analogy as sort of like that messy closet. If you find out all of a sudden that your mom's coming to visit and your place is a mess, you shove everything into the closet to the point that the door can't close. Well, while your mom is there, it's sort of like this magic closet genie comes and organizes everything and puts it all in appropriate bins and in places and folds the clothes. And lo and behold, when you open up the closet door, there's space for more. Well, that's what a brain break is like. When you take a brain break and allow your brain to process what you've been learning, to organize it and categorize it, it builds a scaffolding and it aids memory so that when you sit down again to start to study, you have a scaffolding to attach new learning to. Now, if that brain break happens to be attached to movement, well, that just makes me even more happy, because as you've heard me say before, 20 minutes of a cardio will boost your dopamine and your serotonin functioning. We partnered with Purina initially to provide protein snacks, and that partnership has only grown. Purina continues to supply us with protein snacks for you and has continued to invest in that program. It really benefits your physical health as well as your mental health. Maslow's hierarchy of needs basically says if I don't feed you, if you're not safe, if you don't get an opportunity to sleep, how can I expect higher learning of you? So we want to make sure that we have an opportunity to feed you. From that, some of our wonderful secretaries and administrative assistants was able to grow Bully's Bowl. So more than protein snacks, we take donations now for meals, grab and go kind of meals that are, and that space is open 24/7, 365 for veterinary students. When you get into the clinic, sometimes even under the best circumstances of being prepared, you end up being here longer than you anticipated, and you need some food, something of substance at 2 a.m. Bully's Bowl is there, and you can grab some soup, or you can grab a kind of a ready-to-go meal that you can eat that will get you through the rest of the day.
Hello, I am Dr. Brittany Moore Henderson. I am the Director of Admissions and Recruitment here at the College of Veterinary Medicine, as well as Assistant Clinical Professor in our Community Veterinary Service. So when I decided that I want to be a veterinarian, I thought what I was going to do was to go back to my community and become a mixed animal practitioner, open my own veterinary clinic. But once I became a student here and saw all the things in which I could potentially do with my veterinary degree, I decided that I wanted to remain in academia. And the reason for wanting to remain in academia was the fact that I could continue to help students, providing them with all the various opportunities that and resources that they need to be successful. I could still be a veterinarian, practice, but also I have that other side where I was able to be that link for students, from prospective students all the way until they graduated and were alums of the school. I had that opportunity to be a part of their pathway pretty much. My path was a little different from a lot of other people. Most of the time when you hear about individuals wanting to be a veterinarian, they are wanting to be a veterinarian since they were 4 years old or something like that. Well, for me, I didn't find out about veterinary medicine until I was about 7th grade through a career discovery course where I had to find 10 careers and write about those 10 careers. And within that assignment, I found out about veterinary medicine because I always thought I was going to be a pediatrician. So that you can kind of see what, I guess, the similarities between a pediatrician and a veterinarian. You know, you are helping those that can't speak for themselves. And I realized that I have always had a passion for animals, loved animals. I love children as well, and I always want to help everyone that I possibly could. And I realized that with veterinary medicine, I had the opportunity to not only help humans, but also help animals as well through that human-animal bond. So that what got me through to wanting to become that veterinarian, and then led me down this pathway of wanted to continue to be a veterinarian. Yes, I had bumps along the road, but I found my way through various programming and different mentors that assisted me. And then I finally got to veterinary school. And I think from having that background and not having those little bumps along the road, that kind of helped mold me into the person I am today. Wanted to continue to help as many people as possible, students that want to become veterinarians that may not necessarily have all the resources that they need at that time. I can help provide them and be a source for them to get to where they want to be. Having those little roadblocks that kind of like help make me realize that, everyone may not have those same pretty much, I guess, roadblocks along the way, and they may not see that world, but for me, I can see that. So our students, a lot of the students that come into our class, they may not have those roadblocks, but some had. So I want them to be able to realize and be able to work with each other to see how they can make a difference in veterinary medicine as a whole. And one of those things was creating those various outreach programs that could, of course, open up the eyes of students that may not have known that veterinary medicine was an option for them. And how that helps our current students is allowing them to see what they can do, making them remember what their why is, because going through the veterinary curriculum, they're always tired from studying and doing other things, but that is a way for them to remember their why. They are the ones that are participating in these programs, putting these programs together, interacting with all these students from grade school all the way up into college. So they're telling students of why they want to become a veterinarian and why they still have that passion to want to be that veterinarian. So it's their way of giving back. But like I said, ultimately for them to see their why. And for me being in this position, that's one of the things that I wanted students to be able to see, was to remember always with their why, because you're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days. But when you remember your why, then that gives you that motivation to continue on, and it inspires you. So we have the Big Seal, Lip Seal program where our students, first and second year students, first year students are put together with a second year student who can actually guide them through their first year curriculum, but also throughout veterinary school as well, because they have been there, the second year has been there, so they can continue to guide them along the way. So providing them with that assistance and that, I guess, that perspective. But then we have the faculty mentorship program where each student is provided with a first year a faculty member. And that faculty member is there to also help them guide them through their career path by studying and any other thing that they may need that maybe their student, their Big Seal probably can't provide to them. So ultimately providing them with pretty much that resource, that person away from home that can just help them as much as possible, because you always need someone to lean on. And one of the things that we say here at the college is that we are family oriented. Everyone is a part of our family. So that's a way for us to help them remember that, hey, we are family and we're here to guide them as much as possible, help them even when they have the good days, well, also the bad days. We're there to pick them up and keep them moving forward.